Ladies and gentlemen, let us give a big welcome to I invite Mr. Srinivasan to come to the dais, please. Without much ado, we will start the program. I invite Mr. Shivaraman, Vice President, to give the welcome address to the dignitaries here.
Respected Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam from President of India, Mr. Srinivasan, Chairman Managing Director at TDS Capital Funds, Mr. Krishna, Chairman Expert Committee Logistics, my colleagues from the Madras Chamber, friends, ladies and gentlemen. It's an extremely proud moment for the Chamber to have with us one of the most respected persons of our times, Dr. Abdul Kalam, for the valedictory session of today's conference on creating a carbon neutral Chennai, planning for integrated freight movement. Dr. Kalam is a person known for his technological capability, his uprightness, and his concern for society. He has been and is a role model for all of us, and we are extremely happy to welcome you, Mr. Sir. The Madras Chamber, as I mentioned in my opening remarks this morning, has a very long history. We are in our 176th year of service to the community. We are the oldest chamber in southern India and the second oldest chamber in India. The chamber has been a passionate advocate for investments in and improvement of infrastructure right from its inception in 1836. We were involved in the inception of the Chennai port, and we were involved in the development and enlargement of the transport infrastructure in southern India. The Madras Chamber then being the chamber of the Madras Presidency, which ran from all the way from Odisha to Mangalore. As part of our 170th year, we had decided to take up sustainable development as our theme for the forthcoming decade and going forward. And we have taken two major initiatives as part of the sustainable development theme. The first was the setting up of a skill development center that we have started work on for training and improving the employability of our youth. The second is the Sustainable Chennai Forum, under which this seminar has been organized. The purpose of the forum is to build a business case for sustainable development of the Chennai region, but very broadly defined Chennai region to include practically the whole Tamil Nadu. One of the core activities of the Sustainable Chennai Forum is to organize seminars like these so that we can debate and discuss options and come up with areas of development, areas of focus, and areas ways in which we can improve the development activities. We know, sir, that you have been a strong advocate of sustainable development, and we are happy to put our small showcase our small efforts to you. Tamil Nadu is one of the fastest growing industrial states and also one of the most urbanized states in India. We are the hub of the automobile sector, the textile sector, the leather sector, and also, incidentally, the renewable energy sector. So we add to pollution, but we also do our best as a state to control and mitigate the effects of pollution. Chennai has been one of the most preferred destinations for foreign investment. All of this means a lot of economic activity, and all of it brings challenges with regard to development and environmental management. Transport, including freight transport, is one of the major sources of pollution, CO2 emission, and other pollutants. And by 2030, it is estimated that transportation alone will increase its CO2 output by 60%. In this background, we had organized this seminar to look at the need for integrated freight movement in and around Chennai city, and to formulate a transport policy that will allow Chennai, the transportation of goods in and around Chennai, to be as low carbon emitting as possible. As a business chamber, we felt it appropriate to look at the freight rather than the passenger transport requirements, as we felt that freight transport is an area which is more amenable to behavior modification once the logic is well understood. We are extremely happy to have Dr. Kalam with us for the valedictory function of this conference. We have to admit that the basic seed of this conference came from Dr. Kalam's suggestion that we should make cities carbon neutral, which is where we got the basic idea. On behalf of the Madras Chamber and on behalf of all of you, I extend a very warm welcome to Dr. Kalam. I will also request Dr. Kalam to look at other things that we are doing and hopefully be a little more involved with what we are doing in the Sustainable Chennai Forum for the development of Chennai. This seminar we are conducting in association with City Connect, and I'm happy to welcome Mr. Gopal Srinivasan, Chairman Managing Director of TVS Capital Funds, who is one of the founders of City Connect. Mr. Gopal Srinivasan brings over 25 years of entrepreneurial operational experience and has an extremely wide knowledge of developmental issues surrounding Chennai. We are very happy that he agreed to deliver the special address. Welcome, sir. We have had some extremely interesting deliberations during the day, and I welcome Mr. Krishnan, Chairman of the Expert Committee on Logistics, who will present a very brief synopsis of what was discussed during the day so that we can kind of summarize the program. Again, welcome all of you. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Mr. Shivaraman. We would like to extend a floral welcome to our guests. Can I request Mr. Shivaraman to present a bouquet to our esteemed chief guest, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. And to Mr. Gopal Srinivasan also. Making Chennai carbon neutral had been the central theme since the morning. I request Mr. Krishnan, Chairman of our Expert Committee on Logistics, to give a very brief synopsis just to apprise the chief guest and Mr. Gopal Srinivasan about what had been deliberated during the day.
Respected Sir, Sri Gopal Krishnan, Gopal Srinivasan, Sri Shivaraman. It is indeed a pleasure even to stand in front of you to brief you, sir. I consider it my proud moment in life. Mr. Shivaraman made the opening remarks and explained why this chamber is organizing this seminar, because there are two reasons. One is historical, as he just pointed out, that this chamber was instrumental in setting up the Chennai port and various infrastructural projects in the Madras presidency. And second, as a chamber, we also look into the future. And unless there is sustainable development, the future is questionable. This was followed by the team address by Sri S.N. Srikant, who set the tone for the day's proceedings. He began with a very interesting quote, said, "Chennai is not neutral about everything, but at least in the case of carbon emissions, we are actually sitting on neutral carbon emissions." He quickly traced the historical development of the Autobahn in Germany and under Adolf Hitler and under Eisenhower, the highway of USA. And went on to explain that transportation bears an internal cost and an external cost. The internal cost being summarized as fuel, vehicle ownership, maintenance, insurance, private parking, and external cost as climate change, accidents, pollutions, congestions, infrastructure, and noise. And road transportation imposes the 1/3 cost on society. Mr. Srikanth also drew parallel that rail and water transport impose far lesser external costs, and the road is 5 times as intense in polluting than the other modes. He drew the parallel that in India, road transportation bears the brunt of freight transportation, and unless we develop ways to shift this percentage growth to other modes, especially railways and waterways, carbon emission and being neutral about carbon emission may be a very difficult task. And coming to our own city of Chennai, he quoted, Chennai has 3 rivers, Coombe River running for 40 kilometers, the Adaya River for 24 kilometers, and the Buckingham Canal for 30 kilometers. And explored and exhorted that we need to wake up to the possibilities that exist in transportation through these internal waterways within the city of Chennai. Coming to the port, he drew up the statistics that 85% of the container movement to and from the port of Chennai is by road, and 15% by rail, and nil by water. He ended his theme saying that we need to seriously work to make this paradigm shift and decrease our dependency on road transportation. The special address was made by Dr. Sumantran, and interestingly, he also began with a quote with a Beatles song of Ringo Starr, looking to live under the sea, emphasizing that water transportation offers many positive solutions in carbon emission restriction. Once again, he touched upon the old anecdote of the Buckingham Canal, which was extensively used for transportation of people and goods in good old days, and went on to explain that there has to be a confluence of manufacturing, ICET, IT, an educated population, and industrial infrastructure, all of them working in tandem if we are to address these issues and leave behind us a sustainable Chennai for future generations. His emphasis was technology needs to play the lead role in achieving this goal. Shri T.K. Ramachandran, Secretary to the Government of Tamil Nadu, Highways and Minor Ports, gave the welcome address, and interestingly, he also began with this quote saying, being green is the flavor of the day. Well, though it is a fashionable statement of being green, his talk bore a lot of serious thought. Development of the road sector cannot be divorced from passenger movements, and we need to drive a balance between the movement of freight and passengers. And this has to be a very gradual process, and it cannot be violently changed. Once again, he emphasized that road and rail medium need to collaborate and integrate. And finally, he ended with the 4 R's: reduce, reuse, recycle, and finally, last but not the least, refuse. Refuse things which are not eco-friendly. The first technical session then this was followed by 4 technical sessions. The first technical session, we had Athena, Infonomics, ICRA, and British High Commission, throwing up questions for the participants to deliberate as the day progressed on what is sustainability, what is the economic cost, and what needs to be done to evolve concrete plans of action. The second technical session, chaired by Mr. Dattatri, former urban planner CFDA, and we had an excellent presentation by Sri Nirmal Kumar Joshi, IPS, on the current reality of the Chennai roads and the difficulties it poses and the challenges it imposes to even have a semblance of some sense in the management of Chennai ports. Sri Kalyanarama, Chief General Manager of Container Corporation, was the next speaker, where he emphasized that in Tamil Nadu, evacuation by the rail mode needs much to be desired, and also threw up a suggestion that Concor as an organization was willing to work with the trade in shifting of sea containers to and from the port in a cost-effective fashion.